How to get your first vacant land deal in under 2 weeks. That's right, guys. I'm going to show you exactly today how to get your first vacant land wholesaling deal in under 14 days. So in the next 2 weeks, you're going to be able to find and wholesale a vacant piece of property. Now, I know you guys see a lot of vacant, wholesaling deals of like vacant houses, but there's also just pieces of land out here that us wholesalers can actually go after and make a stupid amount of money. I have about 5 or 6 podcast stories of people making over 40, 50, 60 grand, literally going out here and wholesaling land deals. And this is a true game changer in wholesaling real estate. If you are only going after houses, there's this whole other subsect of wholesaling real estate that I don't think is talked about too much for me, because wholesaling houses is always my favorite, but I have to tell you, I still hit 40, 50, $60,000 pops on vacant land wholesaling deals. And I know it's been highly requested, Zach, how to go out here and wholesale vacant land the way that I do it, because you're gonna find the way that I wholesale vacant land is so much more different than the way so many other people do it, because the way that I do it is really stupid and really simple. The reason people call it stupid is because it is so stinking simple. People are selling $15,000, $20,000 programs on vacant land. And the funniest part is I've never struggled selling a vacant land deal. It is probably the easiest thing I've ever done in wholesaling on the dispo side. And there's a lot of secrets that I do that not a lot of people talk to you about. And if you stay till the end today, I'm gonna give you my biggest gold mine of why I can get really, really rich wholesaling vacant land. The average person makes 10, 15 grand wholesaling a piece of vacant land. My students, I actually had one guy, if someone in the comments can put it in there, he's making 100 grand a month wholesaling vacant land, literally using the strategies that I teach in freewholesaling.com. And he literally does it 2 hours away from me because of the strategies I teach. Now, I am not doing, $50,000, $60,000 vacant land deals every single time. My average vacant land deal, just so everyone knows, is around 25, 30. Because I'm locking up deals for like 10,000, selling them to 30 or 42 builders, but really want to break down exactly how I make a stupid amount of money wholesaling real estate in vacant land specifically. Now, I try in my local market to hit at least a couple deals every single month doing this strategy. I am not going to tell you I am like oh my God, Zach is the vacant land king in wholesaling real estate. He's doing 100 vacant land deals. I do hundreds of deals a month. I will tell you probably 5 or 6 of them are gonna be vacant land. It's not an insane amount, but it's not because we target like crazy. Like I just send mail to everyone, and that's how we specifically do it. And so let me kind of show you exactly how I'm able to close a lot of deals, honestly, of vacant land. I mean, it's probably around 100 a year if I do the math. So let me kind of show you exactly how I do this. Now, there are 2 things we gotta learn about first, right? So I assume you only know about wholesaling houses, right? I mean, wholesaling real estate is general. But let me just kind of show you some quick differences between the 2 so we kind of have a grasp of it, because you might be only used to wholesaling houses. So let me kind of show you exactly how to wholesale vacant land too, just so it's a little easier, a little more simple for you. But you're going to learn in vacant land, there are some cons that we're going to talk about, right? You're going to probably make less money overall if you only do vacant land wholesale. If that's all you do, like, hey, Zach, the only thing I do is wholesale vacant land, you're probably gonna make less money. If you add it on to your wholesaling real estate business, you're gonna make stupid money. Okay, like it's an addition. It's not the only thing. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Zach, it's the only thing. Not really, right? You will overall make more money if you do a strategy of only houses. But if you can combine the 2, that's how you actually make the most money on this. You'll find in vacant land, there are less deals out there in your market. Not a bad thing, but it is a true thing. There are less vacant land deals. This is the reason why I can do thousands of houses a year, but only hundreds of vacant land property. Not because it's terrible or the worst thing ever, just being honest with you, there's just less of these deals out there because you've got to get the right kind of deal, which we're going to talk about today. I think a lot of people try to throw everything on the wall here. It's bad. The cool part about land, I'll tell you, is there is less drama. This is probably my favorite part about land, but the sellers are a lot easier. They're not dramatic. No one's, there's no termites on a piece of land, right? this is more dramatic. It is way more drama on a house deal. But you usually make more money if it's like a big probate deal. But sometimes if you make $5,000 on a house deal, way more stress. There's usually way more title issues. It's kind of sad, honestly. But that is kind of the hardest thing on there. I will tell you for land, it is way easier. Okay, by far, it is way easier to lock up a deal. This is kind of a given. It is harder acquisitions, ACQ. It is way harder to lock up, convince, and get a seller to sign a contract on a house than it is on land. Land, this is why I love it, right? It is the easiest method, and this is why I think a lot of people want to watch this today, right? It's probably one of the easiest virtual wholesaling strategies anyone can do, okay? And it is harder for virtual for houses, right? You gotta do the boots on the ground. It's probably gonna cost you money, right? But like virtual wholesaling, it's like, I don't need to go meet you to go see this vacant land, right? That's not the biggest thing, right? And also it's a lot harder for virtual because I have to see the condition. There's not really any condition problems when it comes to vacant land. So that is kind of the really cool and easy part. And it's simpler, and this is a lot more difficult. There are pros and cons to each. But I think the one I need everyone to understand before we really get into step-by-steps and everything like that is it costs $0 to start wholesaling vacant land. You don't need any money. It also costs $0 to start wholesaling houses. Okay, before I get into step-by-step, you're going to be told that you need to buy a mentorship. You need to go purchase this thing and do this. And guys, let me be straight up with you. You don't need any money to get started wholesaling land. You don't need any money to get started wholesaling houses. Whoever tells you that you have to go pay money to get started wholesaling real estate is stupid. I promise you, if they say you have to spend money to get started wholesaling real estate, I can promise you, I can vouch for myself, I make a way more money than them wholesaling houses. Just putting that out there. And not many people can actually say that. So let's go HUD for HUD, bro. But yeah, as a guy that teaches people pretty much how to get started wholesaling real estate with no money, there are so many free strategies. Now, I will tell you this. Wholesaling land is simple on the acquisition side when you get the deal. You can do everything with no money. Yes, you can. It does get a little more difficult to do when you have no money. There is some things we got to talk about, how to get around some issues, which we'll show you. It's actually easier to get started wholesaling with no money on houses because I can just pull a government list like, hey, let's just get a code violation, right? There's usually no pre-foreclosures for a piece of land, right? So it's actually harder to get the lists and data, which we're going to do the step-by-step talking about today. But there's a lot of work here. So we're going to talk about this. Again, software is the best for it. But again, I'm not pushing anyone to go buy a software or use a software for this. I will tell you it does make it a little easier, but that's just me. Software is a tool. It's like a shovel. We're talking about digging. We're digging sand today, right? Is it easier to dig sand with a shovel or with your bare hands? Right? But again, it's not the tool that's going to make you successful or not. It's going to be the hard work you put in here. So let's kind of break this all down. And really, there's a lot of certain ways I want to kind of go about this. And I think you're going to really like the way that I kind of put this together because it really helps conceptualize. It took me a minute to learn vacant land wholesaling when I was starting out because I was so used to houses. And then we kind of do the switch as whoa. All right, so let's kind of break this all down and let's share exactly the first thing we have to understand. There are approximately 7 questions we must ask a seller when they say they are looking to sell their piece of vacant land. Now, we're going to get in the marketing. We're going to get on the disposition side, but there is specifically 7 questions we need to ask every seller, and we have to ask ourselves these questions. So these are the 7 things we must know to see if we have a deal for vacant land or not, okay? So these are Zach's, I'm gonna call them Zach's 7 musts for land, all right? These are my 7 musts, okay? They are musts. You must know this. If you do not know this, you do not have a deal. All right? Sound good? Capiche. Number 1, I think this is a pretty simple one, but I think not a lot of people understand this, but we have to understand, I'll make this a little bigger. Lot size. If you ever do a JV deal with me, you're going to be pretty surprised, okay, that I start hammering off questions. You're like, wait, I didn't know I'd ask that. Oh boy, you did. So there are 7 questions. The first question we have to first understand is the lot size. How big is this piece of land? I know that sounds kind of, duh. Guys, when you talk to a seller, a lot of you guys just assume whatever is on the software, that's what it is. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes the seller thinks it's more. What I mean by this is sometimes the seller thinks that it is 5 acres when it's really 4, and you can actually get a better price, or they're kind of stuck on prices because they think the lot's just too crazy, right? So it's really good to understand the lot size. So the average lot that we want to make money on is probably what we call a 1/4 acre. So 1/4 acre, we can do 1/2 acre. I will tell you there's points of diminishing returns for vacant land for wholesaling anything above 1/2 an acre, just being honest. But there are ways to do fine if it's really not that big of a deal. But we got to first understand how big is the lot, and really if this is going to be a good fit for our buyers. Number 2, we're going to be looking at the lot zoning. This is really important. So there's a lot of type of vacant lands, right? There are basically like just a piece of dirt in the middle of nowhere, which is really hard to wholesale. There are properties that are like on a busy street, just a piece of vacant land where anyone can do anything with it, right? So it can be built as a restaurant, it can be built as a gym, it can be built as a house, right? But we gotta understand what the zoning is. Sometimes the zoning makes it very difficult, but sometimes the zoning makes it insanely valuable. We have vacant land deals where it's actually zoned for multifamily, and it got the approval plans and the guy just fizzled out. Woo! That's a lot of money. So zoning is really important. Most of it's gonna be single family residential, which is fine. You just gotta know you gotta sell that to a residential person. But I think a lot of people they kind of get confused of the zoning and how it works and things like that. So you gotta understand that. Number 3, you have to ask, why are you selling? This is also a very important thing. Now, a lot of sellers know, and some sellers hide it, but why are you looking to sell your piece of land? Is it because some oil from the neighbor's gas station leaked onto your piece of land and now it's unbuildable? I've had that more than once. I don't know why, but it's a thing. There's environmental hazards. Did a gopher tortoise that is an endangered species in the state of Florida start burrowing in there, and now the property is worth half and you're just trying to pawn it off and screw somebody? That is a true thing. Sometimes I think it's like an eagle's nest. There's environmental things where you can't build a piece of land if there is a special endangered species on that piece of land. And some sellers, which you'll find out, they know the endangered species actually just built their little nest, and now you can't build anything. It'll cost $5 grand to relocate them to a sanctuary, and they're just gonna try to pawn it off. It's like somebody knows they have termites in the house, and they try to sell it to you, and hopefully you don't know there's termites. Same thing, people have like their AC doesn't work in their car, and they try to trade it in and make sure you don't really know about that. It's kind of crazy. But why are you looking to sell the property? Pretty important to know. Maybe it's on sewer water and you want it a little bit better, right? You don't want well water, and maybe the city said, no, we can't give you well water. You just got to figure exactly what it is. Now, also another thing to do, and this is different everywhere around the country, but are you on city or well water? Or sometimes a combination. Now, what this basically means is is there even a water hookup being gone on the property? I think some people don't even know this, but property, either the city is supplying really nice fresh water for the bathrooms, the showers, the sink, and sometimes they have to go use a well. I mean, some states obviously can't, but in like Florida, Southeast United States is like this, where there's just a well, and it's kind of like rusty in there. It's not the best, but that is a type of water system. And usually you have these two. Now, if you're in like the desert, you're probably on city water. But again, they're all different, right? Ask what kind of water setup is going on, or there's no water setup. We have to go to the utility department and get it set up, right? This is important stuff to ask. And when you ask these questions, this is really important. When you ask these type of questions, you're actually looked at, oh, wow, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. This is not his first rodeo. He's asking the right questions. He's actually a real buyer. Very, very important we know this. Now, we want to ask about the sewage and the septic tank. Sewage and septic tank. So if you don't know what a septic tank is, you can look it up what it looks like. It's basically where the number 2 goes. And basically it can be set up inside the property, like underneath it, or there is a whole sewage system for the toilets and it goes and the city takes care of it. You have to figure out which one it is. If it's more rural, it's most likely to be septic. And you're gonna have to ask questions like, Zach, you ask the seller, like, how long from when the septic tank was put in, and does it have to be pumped or not? As somebody that has spent over 6 figures this year pumping septic tanks out of properties that I did not know needed to be pumped, it is a lot of money. I could have bought a used Lamborghini for the amount of money I've spent pumping septic tanks. So very expensive, and something you should know, and it will help the buyer out, and you will sound better, and you won't screw a buyer on a deal, and you will actually do a lot better. Number 6 here, we want to make sure the property has the ability to have power. So the piece of land doesn't need to have a power line directly above it, but it needs to be able to have the ability to have power hooked up. This is something really important because when you build a house, you want to make sure power is going to be able to go there. Now, this is more of a question if like you're in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes power lines don't even go out that far, right? So it's very, very interesting, right? So you just got to understand that it drives me crazy, but so many wholesalers go out here and it's so funny. So that is exactly how to do it. Now, the last question we have to ask is the property buildable? Yes or no? Now, the reason is sometimes you can't build on a piece of property. Maybe there was a sinkhole, maybe you can't build. So the most common land deal, for everyone to understand this, is it's a piece of land, you put it under contract, you sell it to a guy, he builds upon the land and he sells it because he's a developer and that's what he does. And you can make 20 grand, he can make a stupid amount of money. This is pretty much my must for land. So make sure you ask yourself these questions. Exactly how do I do this? So number 1, what is the size of the lot? Number 2, can you tell me about the zoning of the property? Number 3, why are you looking to sell the house or the piece of land, sorry. Number 4, city or well water. 5, does it have sewage or is there a septic tank? How long has the septic tank been there? Does it need to be pumped? Number 6, does the property have any power or the ability to have power? Or number 7, is the piece of land buildable? Very, very important to have that so we can get understanding the next part. And probably the part we got to get started is the step-by-step game plan for 2 weeks to find a vacant land wholesaling deal. It's pretty simple, guys, because I think the lists and the marketing part is probably the one that people need the most help with. So that's what I'm going to be sharing today and showing you exactly what to do here. So let's get into 7 steps on how to get your first vacant land wholesaling deal. And we're going to take a second here. We're going to write this out. So we're going to go to step number 1. We are going to find our builders first, okay? Really important. Find our buyer first. Now, this is why I don't struggle selling deals. If you have ever hung out in my Discord or hung out with just a large amount of wholesalers, and you are going to find people going out here, okay? You are going to find so many wholesalers go out here and be like, dude, I can't sell my vacant land deal. I can't sell it. I locked it up. It's a great deal, but I just can't sell it, man. Because let me just be honest with you. You can go get a list of properties, right? You can actually go out here and get a list, all right? You can get a list of vacant land and you can just go pop, 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 and just lock up 16 contracts. It's actually kind of easy to do if you don't know what you're doing and you just lock them up and you don't know how to comp, which we're going to show you how to comp vacant land and all these things today. It's so easy. It is actually insanely easy to do this. The hard part about land, and let me make this very, very clear. The hardest part about wholesaling vacant land is getting a buyer, getting their criteria, and then marketing to that criteria. Because there's this shiny object of buyers don't want to buy here, but every seller wants to sell here, right? If I find 1 acre for sale in the middle of the desert in New Mexico, that guy's probably eager to sell. But nobody really wants to buy that, right? And that is the main issue, right? You can't hook up power, you can't hook up water. It's a complete mess, right? So a lot of people really get this confused. Finding the buyer is going to be the first and most important priority. I'm going to put a star on this thing because this is just how important it is in the process. If you do not find the right buyer, you're screwed. The reason you want to find the buyer first is they're going to tell you, hey, I'm looking to buy 1/4 acre lots in this zip code in this city so I can build. This is what I'm doing. I'm telling you right now, okay? So many wholesalers get so confused on why they can't sell a deal, especially a vacant land deal, because you are not talking to the buyer first and saying where they're looking to buy. This is called reverse wholesaling. But really for houses, anyway, you can make money with a house. I think everyone knows this, right? Houses are just, they're like ATM machines because people want to live in houses. And as long as guys and girls live with their parents, they want to move out of there. And to move out of there, they need money to pay for rent. And really, if I have a house, people usually, if it's not trashed out, people want to live in there and they will pay me money. People are going to pay you money to go live on a piece of vacant land unless like an RV or something like that. Not getting that. So how do we find land buyers? This is number one. Let's show you. Okay, let me show you what the gurus ain't going to show you. All right, there are specifically 4 types of cash buyers for your vacant land deals. There are 4 types of cash buyers that will pay you for your vacant land deals. Anything outside of here are not buyers for your land. And, oh, hey bro, I'm looking to buy some land in there. No, you're not. You're a guru in disguise. Number 1, probably the most common one and the one we need to focus on the hardest right now is going to be builders. Builders, you can call them developers, whatever you want. These are people who are looking to buy the land, develop something on top of that land, or build a house on that land to rent it out or to flip. There are an insane amount of builders out there, and it's actually crazy to find them, and they're really easy to find. So what I'm going to do is, there are obviously X-Leads is the best software for vacant land buyers, but let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about free ways to go do this without spending any money. So first and foremost, if we're going out here and trying to find builders, the fastest way is going to be just a simple Google search. All right. Google search is just the easiest one, right? Like it's not even a question. Like just search. If you are in Houston, Texas, right? Houston, Texas, home builders. Home builders, Harris County. Home builders, Phoenix, Arizona. Home builders, Fresno. How do I build home designers that build property in Fresno, California? Whatever it is, a Google search is going to be the simplest, easiest way without even thinking to go find builders right now. It's not even a question. Google search is the quickest way. They got their phone numbers. Hey, are you looking to buy from wholesalers that have vacant property under contract? Hey, what I like to do is I like to call them up and say, hey, do you guys have an acquisitions department? Yes, we do. That's how you talk to them, right? Number 2 here, we can go and simply go into Facebook groups. These are less giving, I'll say. They want to be more private, but there are Facebook groups where they talk about the top builders in the area. So maybe I go to San Antonio Real Estate Investing Network or whatever, and I say, hey, I go in the search tab, I go builders, developers. Now, I will tell you, a lot of people act like they're the new, the new developer in the area. I'm going to develop. I'm 18 years old. You're just getting hard money and you're going to lose all your money. Not the best way to be doing this. Now, another way you can do is I like to do Zillow or the MLS if you have MLS access, or Realtor.com, whatever you want to call. But I call these new builds. All right, this is what your guru for landing is going to tell you. But what I like to do is just go on the MLS and find newly built properties. And it's pretty simple. You just go to the year built, 2025, 2026, 2024, whatever like within a year from now, right? And you're just going to find properties with the current year and find that was the year it got built. Find the owner of the property and you're going to find it's a builder. Shocker, right? Now, the point of this is you do not want a community. So let's kind of say no HOA. That's kind of my favorite. So if a guy developed, like a builder developed like a 70 like property HOA gated community, like Pulte or, like some of the bigger ones out there, probably not going to be what we want to do, right? We want to find like more niched out home builders. And these are going to be mostly new built houses that are not in an HOA community. That is kind of the best like mix I have personally found. If it's not in an HOA community and a person just built a new property, they're looking to sell it, you're good. You're here to make money. Like that, I love that. That's a great method to be doing. And I don't think a lot of wholesalers really know that. So trying to give as much free game as I possibly can with that. And then like always on the bottom here, I'm going to tell you X-Leads by far is the best way to find them. So that is the only software that I'll tell you to use because it's the only software that has the really good buyer data that is skip traced. So let me show you exactly how to go in there really quick and find vacant land. Guys, let me know, where should I find builders? Let me go find a builder for everyone in here watching this right now. Give guys in the chat, give me a market, and we'll go out here and find vacant land builders in that area. And I'll show you exactly how to do it step by step here. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna give you guys a second here. We just had I'll tell you, I'm not gonna get into it right now, whatever. Okay, I like it. Huntsville, Alabama, let's do that. Okay, let's go inside of X Leads and do this really quick. I'm not gonna get this the whole like X Leads video, but I am telling you, it is insane software to be doing this. So here we go. Okay, so let's go inside of X Leads. All right. All right, cool, X Leads. So we are going to go here, and if you want to sign up, you just go to xleads.com, no affiliate link. All right, we're gonna go to Investor Leads, and we are going to do Huntsville, Alabama. Click that. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. And what we're gonna do is, obviously what's gonna do on the top, these are gonna be what we call flips. Now, this is really important, all right? How XLeads does it is they look at the amount of properties flipped, right? So if you bought a property and you sold it for a profit, you are considered a flipper inside of it. Wink, wink. Every builder, every cash buyer, anyone that is a buyer for wholesaling deals already has a profile instead of X Leads. But I mean, any software has a profile, but I'm just saying that to be fancy, I guess. But basically, if I just look at people that are buying and selling, Local Home Buyers Incorporated is one of the top ones. Pretty simple, right? I click Local Home Buyers, and it looks like Richard Colt is the owner here. And this is actually, it started out for a reason, because YouTube keeps taking these videos off the air. And so I actually have a demo X Leads account, which is this one. If you can confirm in the comments, if you go to X Leads, the actual phone number does pop up in here. You have to have the pro plan, obviously, for the Dispo suite inside of here. But you basically figure out, okay, this guy's looking to buy, he's buying 2 1s and flipping them. So this guy's an actual like flipper. So yeah, he ain't gonna be like a home buyer. But Jeff Benton Homes, this guy, what you like to do is just go and find the rent. These are those residential properties he actually owns. But if you actually go here and do this, look, if you look at the average purchase price, this is where you find the builders inside of X Leads. Now, the average purchase price, if it's like 30 or 40 grand, you're gonna be like, wow, this guy's actually a builder. So what we do here to find builders really quick is I go to the average purchase price, max it out at 70K. Let's see what we find here. Let's make it smaller, 40K. See if we find any. There we go, 46. Now, the reason why I do this is because the average builder is buying a property for $20,000, $30,000, and then he is putting 200 grand into it and selling it. Now, the really important part about how to hack X Leads for this is you want their average profit to be like 150 grand. It's like, wait, how does a guy's not making 150 grand on a flip? No, but on paper, the way X Leads, like, okay, this guy purchased it for 23,000, and then he recently sold it like 6 months later for 190 grand. Technically, X Leads says it's made 170 grand because we don't know if, you know, what they did on that. So that's kind of a hack you can do on this. So Backfield Properties, Holt Media Group, TGM Properties. This guy is average buying for 40 grand and then selling it for $185,000. This right here, boom, 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 is going to be a buyer, right? So let's see here, 145,000. Okay, we got no buyers there. That sucked. So we're just gonna search this guy up then. So if you want, his website pops up right here. Yep, it's a hotel development company. Interesting. So yeah, that's how we go inside and there do it. If you want to actually hack it another way, I like to go average gross profit is going to, I want minimum to be like 80 grand. We want them to make at least 80 grand. The reason we want them to make at least 80 grand is these are going to be, if your average profit is, oh wait, that's for the company. No, that's total, that's average. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Here we go. There we go. This guy, he's buying for 90 and he is making 114 Cactus Property Group. Boom. Simple and easy to go. And this guy's buying a stupid amount right there. So those are the guys I'd be doing in there. And then most of these are skip trace, not every single one. But Lee House Home Building Incorporated, like boom. Simple and easy to do. And then you can kind of find your deals doing that. Pretty simple. There's landlord. Oh, sorry. Boom. Pretty easy, pretty simple. That's how you go inside of X Leads and do it. I'm not trying to sell you on that. I'm just saying that's the software to use because it's only, I think it's $159 a month for the pro plan. And then if you just want the 15,000 skip traces for like the sellers for houses, it's only $49 a month. And a lot of wholesaling software companies try to attack me. There we go. Wow, look, wow. This is actually crazy for me because there's a certain software that has been launching. That's so funny. There's a certain software that's been launching bot attacks, and all the names are like Berjani or like they're fake names, but like they're from outside the country, and they're all saying, "Oh, the software sucks. Use said software." It's actually insane the amount of bot attacks I've been getting because a lot of those users are leaving their software to this software. So guys, let me know if you see that in the comments. You'll see this. You'll actually see one specific software being promoted, like, oh, this software is the greatest. And it's got a weird name, and like they say something bad about me and say, but only use this software. And it's kind of funny that that software is actually doing a bot attack on me, which is kind of insane to me. But yeah, they're mad because all their software is leaving to X Leads, and they are trying really hard. So yeah, that's all I can say. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say on that end. And yeah, I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, see, if I would know it's not a bot attack, it's like, oh, that sucks. We love this. They all talk about 4 or 5 softwares. They only talk about one software, which is real. Is it really interesting to you guys that these bots only talk about one software and not like, oh, PropStream's amazing. I love PropWire, right? No, they don't say that because I know those owners aren't doing bot attacks on me. It's only one software that's doing bot attacks on me. So just want to give a shout out to these bots. They are, and PropStream and PropWire are great. Love those softwares, right? But this specific software is really trying hard. So yeah, let's kind of break this all down and break down how to do builders. So those are three great ways to do it. Now, land bankers are going to be kind of a little different here. So land bankers are people that buy the piece of land and they keep it, hold it on, and they try to have it appreciate, it going up in value. So they want some appreciation on there. For example, if you believe in the next 10 years, downtown, like West Dallas is going to be like the new, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like the new, West Dallas is going to be like the insane, brand new, like the greatest area ever, right? It's going to be the new Austin, Texas, West Dallas. Oh, great. The bots are in here. Whatever. I'm not going to get into this right now. These are all bots. But okay. We just saw the viewership double. So I know for a fact that these are bots coming in here. So whatever. Okay. Chill out here. But basically, if you think West Dallas is going to be the new place, what you're going to do is buy a bunch of land in West Dallas and wait 10 years for it to appreciate. There are certain areas like in Miami where, like, if you look at like the Brickell area or kind of like where Wynwood Walls used to be, right? It used to be like Overtown area. Properties have land has appreciated like 20% year over year because those areas are just, it's not good, but like they're being insanely gentrified right now. Like they're being insanely gentrified right now, which is really, really, really not good. So that's bad for that area, but like people are making a ton of money land banking it. So a lot of downtown areas, like for example, I think Florida is set to just explode. I think Arizona is set to explode, and Texas, these 3 population centers are exploding right now in wholesaling real estate. The reason why they are exploding right now in wholesaling real estate is because all the California, New Yorkers, and people from north are moving down there. Now, for example, everyone wants to move to Orlando. It's a cool area, right? You got Disney, you can live there. These bots are driving me nuts. But basically, what they're doing is looking to land bank. So specifically, what they are doing is they're buying the area, they're wanting to appreciate and go from there. There are real people you're going to find that they think this area is going to be really good. Specifically me in Florida, these are people that live on the water. These are specifically the ones that they have a property, maybe it's beachfront, maybe it's riverfront, and they know it's in the downtown region. They're looking to sell it and make a ton of money. So if it's a really good appreciated area, mostly a downtown area. There's a certain guy, his name's Devin. I actually had him on my podcast. He found a guy who's been holding on this property in downtown Stuart, Florida forever. And he locked in the deal, I think, for 90 grand and sold it for 300 grand to another land banker. I didn't make that money. But yeah, absolutely amazing. So land bankers, you can pretty much find them. You can find them in Facebook groups because like, hey, I think this area is good. I got money. They're looking to buy it and just keep it there. They only pay the property taxes. But really the best way to find this, and I hate to tell you, is going to be like cash sales. Cash sales on any software. I'm just going to put any software in general. Just go to cash sales. You can do X leads, whatever you want. But like land bankers aren't like the craziest ones to be doing, right? It's insane to me, but like so many wholesalers don't understand about the cash sales thing. But like people that buy property and vacant land for cash right now, they're looking to buy the piece of land and keep it there. They're great ones to do. My next one's probably very, very underrated. If you're looking into virtual wholesaling, this is probably one of the best areas for you to be doing. So there are pieces of land specifically in the Southeast United States, really what I call cheap living or affordable living. Let me give an example. South Carolina is massive on this right now, right? There are areas that are very expensive in South Carolina, roughly, right? You kind of look at Charleston area. If you kind of go outside of that area, you are going to find these trailer parks, and you're making a stupid amount of money in these trailer parks. Louisiana is big on this, right? Like New Orleans is expensive, relatively, but there's trailer parks on the outskirts where people need to work and live, and they are insane, right? So what I'm going to tell you is trailer park owners are great. These are going to be roughly in the Southeast United States and expensive markets. So one tip I can give to everybody, let me give one example. Fresno, California. Guys, Fresno, California is known for having probably one of the best farming valleys in the entire world. Okay, it's one of the best farming valleys in the literal entire United States of America. Okay, and the reason why it works so dang good and why it's one of the best in the entire world is because it's like a valley, all the water soups in, it's fertile. It's one of the best areas to actually have agriculture in the entire world, right? And it's super expensive in California. Fresno is one of the only cheap markets, but now things are getting expensive. A lot of these workers can't afford to have $600,000, $700,000 houses. So there's a lot of trailer parks actually in Fresno, California, and they are money. They are chef's kiss insane. So look for expensive markets and trailers outside of that. There's some trailers outside of like Eastern Oakland that kind of by Sacramento, but kind of in the middle there. And those people have to actually go to San Francisco to work. This is a great area right there. So if you have a piece of land, there are going to be people who want to buy trailers, put it on the land, and be a trailer king. I have done this actually myself. I have bought a piece of vacant land from wholesalers that maybe had 2 or 3 trailers on there. And then I put 17 trailers on that sucker and I cash flow. It's awesome. Florida's really good for it, except for hurricanes are not really fun. And that's pretty much it. Now, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be what I call mineral rights. This one doesn't really count, but it does count. Okay, so the thing's in here. So let's, is this in the way? Nope, it's the other one. There's a 4th type of vacant land buyer. I don't really like talking about too much because it's very niched out. But if you are in Texas or basically Alaska, maybe Oklahoma, there are mineral rights plays. And I've actually done deals. This isn't like a stupid, like specific one, but I have made a lot of money on what we call mineral rights deals, where the property has certain minerals, mostly oil, that can actually be sold to like an oil tycoon type guy. And I'm not getting into like how you know if the property has oil or not. I will tell you, but there's certain land where you can lease it out to somebody, and you can lease it out to like Exxon Mobil or like some oil company, and they can put a rig on there. Guys, I just sell it, and that's pretty much. So I've sold deals where the guy's like, I want mineral rights deals, and I just sell it to him, and he tries to play that whole oil thing. I'm not gonna be the mineral rights king. Alaska has gold rights. They also have a stupid amount of oil. So these are called mineral rights buyers. I'm not going to be like the guy to explain this all of it, but basically you can have a piece of land that you have mineral rights that you can actually can start producing the oil yourself. You have to pay anyone on it, and it's pretty dang good. Some mineral rights guy can tell me in the comments the whole entire process, but it's pretty dang good. So the 4 type of buyers are going to be builders, land bankers, trailer park owners, and mineral rights buyers. Now, that is step 1. And I promise you, like that's the hardest part about this whole series is finding the right buyers. Where we're gonna go to the buyer and say, hey, where are you looking to buy? Where are you looking to buy? And what are you looking to buy? Where are you looking to buy? And what are you looking to buy? Then we're pretty much good to go from there. Now, step number 2, all right? Step number 2, we're gonna find the buyer first. We're gonna see exactly where they wanna buy. And then from there, we are going to find a list. Now, there are 2 ways to go find a list of vacant land, all right? Number 1, you can just basically go to xleads.com and get a list of you go inside of vacant land in the filter, you go to where the property is and you go to land, or you can go find somebody that has xleads. Now there's other softwares you can use PropStream's really good, for example, but they'll be able to help you do it, right? So for example, I go back in here in xleads. Let's do this, share my screen. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna go to property leads. Let's do Milwaukee, I don't know, for example, right? And let's go here. We're gonna go to filters. We are gonna go down here to property types. I already had that on there. But single family, right? So you're just gonna click land only and boom, pretty much good to go. Simple as that. So you go inside of here and you're pretty much good to go. So you go here and all the vacant land is right there and you are good to go. So all the vacant land is in there and that's just, you pull the list and you're good to go, right? So you can click it from there, the vacant land, and I'll wait for it to skip trace, blah, 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 blah. Come on, give me my numbers. All right. Let's just refresh the screen. Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty. Wait, that was the LLC there. Oops, that's not popping. Hold on. I gotta refresh the code on this thing. Hold on. Alrighty. Oh, I see. There we go. All right, let's pop this one up. Cool. Alrighty. Let's go here. Let's pop this one up here. Okay, all these are gonna say vacant land on them. This one's the city owns that one. And then we go from here. And all we do is you just scroll down and find a nice piece of land. So I like it when the owner actually owns it. That's kind of my favorite. I don't like the whole LLC owning it. That's not my favorite one. So you can exclude who owns it. You can exclude investor owned also. You just go to this tab here and you exclude investor owned. So we just go to click here, go to exclude, and we put active investor owned right there. Let that load up. Cool. And then these are mostly just land bankers and stuff like that. We gotta share my screen. Sorry guys. Boom. So yeah, pretty much good to go. So you go inside here and then you got the owner for this piece of land. The owner for the piece of land right here. And you click that and it's attached to Google Voice and you can call them for free using a absolutely free dialer. So pretty much easy and simple way to do it. And that's how I find my vacant land deals. Now, there is a third option, and I want you guys to understand this. This is a third option, but it does not solve all your problems, and it is a free option. It does not cost any money at all for this option. So let's see here. Oh my gosh. All right, love it. Okay, so the third way to do this is you can actually do what we call the tax rolls. Now this is gonna be, I told you, I'm gonna show all the free ways to do it. Oops, there you go. There you go, it's free. You can do the tax rolls. So this is a list from the property appraiser or the tax collector, and they actually have a list of every single property, what they are zoned as, what if they're vacant land, what they're not, what is their actual appraised value, pretty dang cool, what is their actual appraised value, and you can actually get a list of every single property that they're collecting taxes on. It is called the tax rolls. Now, it's insane, okay? It is insane, all right? Because so many people don't know you can actually get this for free. It doesn't cost any money at all. So yeah. So the tax rolls is exactly how you actually go in here and you request a list of all the tax rolls and it costs no money at all. It is completely free. And now you get a list of every single property. You can go inside of Excel and make sure it's only vacant land. And now you have a list of all the vacant land. You can go and triple search and cold call if you want to or not. But honestly, that is exactly how you do it. So xleads.com, if you want to go get a quick software for it, or you go to the tax rolls, it's free. Now, the reason why I say you should try to do xleads is because you get 15,000 skip trace for free included for xleads, and you're pretty much good to go. So that is exactly how to find a list, step number 2. Now, let's go to step 3 right here, all right? Step 3 is we are going to skip trace the list. So this is why we just basically do it. So we are going to skip trace the list. So we can either skip trace for free or we can skip trace with xleads. I'm not even telling you to pay for skip tracing because xleads got 15,000 for free included. Or if you want to do it for free, you can go use 2 types of websites, which comments, say it in the comments so we can help you out. But you just go to cyberbackgroundchecks.com or truepeoplesearch.com. Perfect. So you either go to cyberbackgroundchecks.com or truepeoplesearch.com. This is how you find anyone's phone number for free. Love it. It's awesome. But yeah, step 3, we're going to skip trace right there. Step number 4. All right, so let's talk about step number 4, okay? Step number 4 is we got the phone numbers. We have the list of vacant land. This is when we actually start doing deals. Now, there's only 3 ways to market to vacant land. You can either cold call them, send them out a text, or do a piece of direct mail. These are the 3 only ways to actually start marketing to vacant land. Now, I'll be honest with you here. I'm not gonna go crazy on you. You can do MLS. You can try to wholesale MLS deals. It is possible. I will tell you that it is really, really difficult to do because wholesaling MLS sucks and it's hard to get really good deals on them. But you can call, text, or send direct mail to them, and that's how we market. Then from there, we're gonna go to step number 5 here. And step number 5 specifically is going to be comping and locking up the deal. Let me get a different marker. Now, a lot of people, I saw a couple comments, they're like, Zach, how do you comp deals? Actually, how do you go out here and comp these deals? Well, it's actually not that difficult to do. So let me show you exactly how you do that. Oh my gosh, so funny. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, so let's see here. So there's 2 ways to comp. Now, my method for comping properties is there's 3 types of vacant land comping. Now, this is something you don't really hear from anyone or see from anybody, but let's talk about the first way. The first one are just regular comps for land, right? Hey, locally, this other piece of land sold for this much, we're gonna use that as a comp, right? I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Number two, comps for land. That's number 1. Number 2, what we're gonna do here is we are going to actually use sold houses as comps. Now that might be, Zach, that's blasphemy. But here's the problem a lot of people have, right? Zach, I can't for the love of me find a good comp for land in my area. There's only houses. This is the only piece of land. Well, what I'm gonna tell you to do is just offer 15% of a sold house in the area. That's roughly the acquisitions cost of if somebody sells their built house for 400 grand, 15% of it is going to be buying the land. Now, some guys say 20, some guys say 25%. If you're in a higher ARV market, you're roughly looking at 25, but sometimes it goes all the way down to 10. So I think 15 is a good average. So what you're going to roughly do here is 15% of a property that's sold nearby. Take 50% of it. That is a rough comp for the piece of land. And then lastly is TAV, which is the tax assessed value. So go to the property appraiser and see how much the property is assessed from the tax collector. Xleets actually has this in there, which is pretty cool, but you just go to the property appraiser. It costs no money to do, no money at all, and you're pretty much good to go there. Then the rest is pretty simple, right? We write a regular contract. So just FYI, locking up the deal, it's the regular thing as a house. You have the legal description, you're pretty much good to go. So step 6 here, we're going to send to title, make sure everything's good. And then step number 7 here, we are going to sell to the buyer and close. That's pretty much it. So what we do is we go back to the buyer and say, hey, look, you remember you wanted to buy a 1/4 acre lot in Bellevue, Florida? Well, I got it right here. And he walks through, says he likes it, assignment of contract, send it to the title company, and we're pretty much good to go. And then we close and make our money wholesaling land. Pretty dang cool. That is one of the best ways to do it. So from the top, we find the buyers first. There are 4 different types of vacant land buyers. There are builders and developers, there are land bankers, there are trailer park owners, and then there are mineral rights buyers. Then from there, we're gonna go pull a list from X leads or from the tax rolls, or find a guy who actually has, X leads and say, hey, can you pull me a list? Boom. Then from there, we are going to skip trace the property. You can skip trace using X leads, 15,000 is included. And it actually has a CRM in it that some of the bots in here do not want to talk about. And then you get it for free from cyberbackgroundchecks or truepeoplesearch.com. Step 4, you're going to call, text, or send a direct mail piece. I prefer you call or text them. Then from there, you can comp the property and lock up the deal. You can find other comps for land. You can find sold houses, take 50% off of it, and then do a tax assessed value. Send that sucker to the title company, sell to a buyer, and then boom, you are set to close and you are good to go. The last thing I do want to tell you guys and to show you is the last piece of golden information I want you to really focus on. If you can focus on one type of land to make the most money, let me see guys, comments. Let me know. What do you guys think is the most valuable piece of vacant land? Anybody right now can start doing virtual wholesaling in person. What is it? Okay, let me draw so we really understand what I'm trying to show here. This is money right here, okay? This is where all of the money is, okay? So this is something called, let's make it red for money, or red for important, but these are gonna be things called infill lots. Infill lots, very, 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 very lucrative. So an infill lot is pretty much when there is, right? So this is the street, right? Okay. And pretty much what there is just, let's put some grass here. All right. So let me kind of show you exactly what this is. So this property is a 1/4 acre, and this property right here is a 1/4 acre, right? So this much is a 1/4 acre, this much land is a 1/4 acre, and then this piece of land right here is 1/2 acre. Okay? Pretty simple. Now, the reason why this is going to make so much stinking money for you, okay, is this piece of land right here, this land is right here, but there's house, land, house. This is called an infill lot. You can just sell this to a builder who will pay you a stupid premium because everything's already set up in here, and they will just build it and build it. Now, here's where the real money's at. This is called splitting lots. If this is 1/2 acre and these are 0.2 acres, you can sell it to a builder who knows that they can split this thing in half. You can go to the city and split in half. So now this piece of land is worth more having 2.25 acre lots than just having 1/2 acre lot, because this is money. So you could sell, if you know it can be split, you can call the zoning department and see if it can get split. You have 2 1/4 acre lots. So technically it's house, lot, lot, house. So the reason is when you're driving in your car, if you're driving for dollars today, and you see house, land, house, call that owner infill lots, they are money. And no software really does it really well. They're really not that good at developing it, which I'm working on something. But like right now, if you're driving for dollars and you see this, stop the presses. Go in there and get it, and you can make a stupid amount of money wholesaling vacant land. So guys, vacant land wholesaling is an amazing strategy. If you want to start doing it, make sure you go to my free real estate wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com, where I show you how to wholesale real estate absolutely for free, step by step. If you want to check it out, and also if you want the best software for wholesaling vacant land, go to xleads.com.